Hello and welcome to Blissful Barnyard again. I'm Sam and we're going to be doing another kit video. I'm going to wait for a few people to turn up in the chat, see who's coming, and then I'll be straight back with you. No. I hate this computer. Hey, Ginny. Over there. I know Scotty probably won't be here tonight. He's hopefully getting some sleep. His dad has had another heart attack, so it'd be nice if some people can say some prayers for Scotty and his dad. June's messaging me. Hang on. June wants the link. I'm sorry about this, guys. Yeah. Yeah, so Ginny, I know you're into prayer. If you can say a prayer for Scotty and his dad, that'd be great. Looks like June might be coming in too. That'd be nice. Hey, June. How's things? I don't think Tex is coming in either. Thanks, June. I think I put it on your Facebook as well earlier when I set it up. I don't think Tex is coming because she hasn't been sleeping, so I told her it's fine, just get some sleep. June, Scotty's dad's had another heart attack. I think he said it's his fourth in the last 3 months. Thank you. Needs cutting. Huh. Okay, I'm actually going to start this video and start showing you my kit. So anybody that knows me knows that first aid is, yeah, Scotty's dad had another heart attack. So Scott is traveling 2 hours to the hospital there and 2 hours back every day to go look after him. I'm worried about Scotty and his depression. So I did remind him, because he's telling me he's okay, and I'm going, yeah, watch your moods and watch your depression, because you don't want to be slapped by it. So apparently his dad's doing okay. It's just that it's his 4th heart attack in 3 months, which is a lot. So anyway, this is my car first aid kit. It's another Mali pack. You know I love my Mali. I love my tactical stuff. And it fits nice in my boot, and it's pretty comprehensive. You may get some ideas, you may not. There are some things missing, of course. And I'll go through them as I get to them. I'll give you a weight of this, and then I'll show you the bag itself. Okay, the weight is 2.23 kilos. That's not actually that bad. I thought it would be more than that. Right, so this bag, it's what you lot call a fanny pack. The bands to go around your waist are actually, I've tucked them in and then put some more first aid supplies in here. It also has the Molly, so you can fit it onto a rucksack, you can fit it on the back of your belt. Now, this is one of the bigger ones. Condor do a smaller pack, and I actually used to use the smaller pack. I actually have a few. I collect bags and pouches. So the outside, it has a nice thick handle that's strapped down. Pounds. Pounds and ounces. £4.1. £4.1 in pounds. So this bag has 2 pouches on the side. It has one on the top, one on the front, and then a big middle pocket. And everything's organised inside it. And on the outside, I'm going to unlock this. I do have a small first aid patch. So I should probably get a bigger one. And then I also have a nurse's fob watch. If you need, it's not even the right time. It's not the right time right now. I didn't put it forward. If you need to take write a time down that you started, somebody started fitting, somebody blacked out, if you've put a tourniquet on, you need to write the times down of what things happened. So there's a little fob watch on, because I walk around with no watch. So each thing's zipped. It is there is Molly on the sides as well, so if you wanted to add any more pouches, you could. There are drainage holes in the bottom, so if anything leaked, it wouldn't wet the whole bag. So let's get down to this bag. Right. On this side, it just opens up this side. Now, this is my personal protection pouch. So this is stuff that protects me. Okay, so I have some Vaseline. I have a head torch again. I have a few of these, so just so you know. Lots of gloves. So these are my gloves because I have very small hands, but I also have a couple of pairs of medium. I should probably put large in here instead, but there's a couple of pairs of medium in that one. There's 2 masks. So if a building comes down, you can put, like 9/11, when the buildings come down, a lot of people's issues was from wheezing because they breathed in all that dust. Or if somebody's got some sort of respiratory issue and you don't want to be breathing in any lurgies, you can, there's 2 in here, so it's either one for you and one for somebody else, or one for somebody that's sick. So I've got a couple of them in there. They're just normal, they're not the N95 ones, they're just normal virus ones. They're nothing special. Okay, we have some hand gel, some alcohol hand gel. We have some wet ones, doesn't matter which ones, but they keep you clean, keep an area clean. If it's just a scratch or something, just wipe it down with this. Okay, we have 2 water towels. If you put these in water, they puff up. Would you like to see one of these, how it happens? Has anybody seen one of these before? It's a cloth that once you immerse it in water, it fully opens up. Does anyone want to see how this opens? Or have you all seen it before? So you know what these are, June. Ginny, have you seen these sort before? They actually have the smaller one as well, and I actually have some of them in my EDC. Okay, well, I'm going to go on to the next one. Earplugs again. Gotta love the earplugs. Okay, Amy, does that mean you have seen it or you want to see it? And just wrapped up in elastic band is a couple of bags. So if you've got to collect water, yeah, they're towels. It's a little cloth that if you put it in water for a couple of minutes, they puff up, and they are actually reusable. If you dry it out, you can then use it again, depending on what you've used it for. Okay, so I've got a couple of just clear plastic bags. So if you're going to put dirty dressings in it, if you want to collect water, there is something in here why I would want it for water. So there's a couple of bags, and that's that pocket done. Now the front pocket is a bit of miscellaneous, but it's medications really. So in here I have some Radiant B, which is ibuprofen. That's cool, Ginny. Which is an anti-inflammatory cream. So I have a tube of that. I have a tube of Savlon antiseptic cream, which is basically the same as your triple antibiotic, but this smells amazing. I have some glucose fast-acting tablets. So if say your blood sugar goes low, I've got some of these in here, so you can these are caffeine free, and you just chew them. So it's a good thing to have in your kit if you've got somebody that is diabetic, or even normal people, when they get low blood sugar, they start shaking and things like that. So it's a good thing to have as a backup. Now I've got some Tyrosettes. Now you can't get these in America, but I swear by these. These are an antiseptic, anesthetic throat lozenge. Amy can tell you how good these are. I get quite a few sore throats. I try not to do these because they have actually got antibiotic in them. But if I'm really coughing, then I will suck on one of these, and it stops the itchy throat, so I stop coughing. So I've got a tube of those in there. Then none of this is prescription, so none of my medication is in this bag because I have that elsewhere. So this is stuff that can be given out. Everything in here can be used on children. So I made sure everything was safe. Okay, I have a disposable single-use ice pack. Obviously, sprain an ankle, trip over, need to cool down if you're overheating, if somebody's had a burn. Just a small ice pack. Okay, inside this bag, there's actually separate containers. So I've got a little notebook and a pencil on the side. I've got a lighter, a nice bright one, so I can see it if I drop it. I've got a few burn creams. Now, these are the ones with tea tree in them. They don't have any pain relieving in them. I do have some somewhere, but not in the little single use. But I think they're important to have in your bag if you burn yourself on your exhaust, if you've gone out camping and you've burnt yourself, or a kid's burnt themselves. This will help with the wound to soothe it a little bit. I do have a disposable thermometer. You just stick it on the head and it'll tell you the temperature. So in this side, I have super glue. So if you cut yourself and you don't want to use steri strips or something, then you can just use super glue. Now, remember that any sort of glue on a wound is going to sting. It works, but it hurts. So just be aware of that. No matter what glue you use, even the proper skin glue, which there's no point in buying because this just works exactly the same. So I've got a small tube of super glue. I have a little bag of salts, individual salts from takeaway. Because if you want to sterilize water for wounds and stuff, having a little bit of salt in the water is good for cleaning wounds out. So I like carrying it this way. So there's a few sachets there. Now there are things missing because I haven't replaced them. Right now there's no painkillers whatsoever. There's no ibuprofen. It may be in my bedroom actually. So what I've done, I'll show you. I've just got these little bags. I've put a sticker on them of what they are, what they do, and the milligram that they are. So these ones are the diarrhea. I have some sertraline. I have some omeprazole. I didn't put on what this is for because this is just stomach spasm. And I've actually got some charcoal. Now, you might wonder why I'm putting charcoal. If somebody eats something out and about and it's making them sick or they've been poisoned, take a couple of these and it'll neutralize partially neutralize. Now, I do want to say I'm not a doctor. I do have some medical training, but I am not a doctor. So anything you see in this bag or anything that I say, do your own research because I don't want to be sued. But it is a well-known fact that hospitals use charcoal when you pump the stomach if you take an overdose. You can also grind these down and make a little paste. You'll see something later. And you can use it as a poultice. So if you get a bite from an animal and it's gone, you know, some people how mosquitoes or are bitten by something and it starts getting really pussy and things like that. Like I get that with American mosquitoes. I'm actually allergic to American mosquitoes, and I get real sores. So I make a poultice up of this, and I put it on a dressing. I put it on it, and it pulls. Instead of using a drawing cream, you can just use the natural stuff and just use charcoal. I have a few small safety pins in a bag. And then I also have loosely some of the bigger ones. So I need to drink. My mouth is really dry. I'm sorry. So that's all of it. Oh, no. There are a couple of spare batteries. And actually, there's something missing from this kit. Oh, 2 seconds. Took it out the other day to use it. So, and actually that bit goes in the top, so I'll do that then. So that's 2 pouches done. So this next one is what I would call the boo-boo kit. But it's also for kids. Now, I don't have any little kids, but you know, if a lot of kids, when they've hurt, they cry because they're scared, not necessarily because they're in pain. So if you take their mind off it, you can treat their wounds. So I actually have a couple of things in here that will entertain kids. Now, first of all, I have a little duck whistle, just a fun. If you go into the dollar store and just pick up little like things that you put in gift bags, they don't have to cost a lot. So this just does a quick, and then they can take it off with them because it's not like it costs a lot, but it'll keep them entertained while you're trying to sort out their wound or while you're trying to sort out their parents if there's been a car accident or something like that. But just a little something to keep kids entertained. And I actually have, if they've been good, I have some little shiny stickers that they can have if they've been good. So it's just little things, you know, because kids get scared. They're not used to pain and things like that. So I think that I hadn't seen that in anybody else's kit, and I think strange. So, okay, so we have some micropore. You lot call it paper tape. So a whole roll of the inch. I have moist saline wipes. These are alcohol-free ones, so just for cleaning wounds. I do have some alcohol wipes as well. I have different size butterfly bandages. So for wounds that need a little bit more, if they're quite big, deep, these will work. I don't know if you can see it in the pack, but I've got small ones and I've got these large ones as well, and they're both in the pack. I've got all different size band-aids. You call them band-aids, we call them plasters. Just a mixture. So I've got, I can show you. Oops. Some big ones, some fairly normal size ones. Actually, I have, and then slightly smaller than those. I have a couple of them because they're the ones that people use most. And then just some small square ones. And then I have a foot kit. So I have a piece of moleskin, and I have a couple of blister plasters, band-aids, whatever. Because if you're out on a hike or just walking around, having blood oozing out your foot because you've got a blister because your shoes have decided they're going to rub, or somebody you're with, or whatever. So I've got some moleskin and blister band-aids. So that's the two sides done and the front. Now the top pouch, I will show you it as I open it, is my tools. Now you might say, well, what tools would you need? Well, I have a pupil torch. The batteries are upside down, but it actually has the gauge on the side as well, with measurements. So you can, if somebody's had a bang to the head, you can sort of guesstimate their concussion or something like that. So that would normally be in here. I have a pair of bandage scissors. These are just stainless steel autoclave. They're supposed to be able to cut a penny. I'm not going to bother because I don't want to blunt them because I don't see the point. Now they do different sizes of these. They I think this is the 7.5. They actually do a 5.5 inch as well. So nice bright colour again in case they get dropped. Obviously you don't really want to drop it, but some bandage scissors. I have two different scalpels. Now you might not see much of a difference because they're both similar, but it's the 10A and the 11 because I think they're the ones that get used most in a medical kit. So two disposable but sterile scalpels. I also have some curved needle forceps, the locking ones. They are actually locking ones. So they actually have grooves. For people that don't know, they actually have some grooves just there, and they clip on that way. So for you're going to stitch, you could use these. You can use these as needle drivers. You can use these because of the ones I've got. Mine are very close at the edge, so I can use these as needle drivers as well. for you holding dressings. Curved forceps are really good. And then in the top of here, there's a little pocket. I have 3 tongue depressors. Now these can be used as tongue depressors. These can be used as splints. These can be used to mix the poultice I was talking about earlier. There's plenty of uses for tongue depressors. I also have a sharp pair of nurse's scissors, stainless steel again. Whatever medical tools you get, make sure you get stainless steel. You can autoclave them yourself, just boil them for a few minutes to sterilize them. And then if you actually want to keep them sterilized, if you put them in the, what are they called? What's the bag that you suck all the air out and seal it? Anybody? I can't remember. You know what I'm talking about. So you can actually sterilize your own tools and then keep them sterile by doing that. I also have a curved pair of tweezers. I've kept the sponge on the end to keep them together so they don't stab anything. But these are good for thanks, June. These are good for picking up dressings. Now they are pretty sharp. You can actually use these to look inside a wound as well. Now, bear in mind, these are not sterile anymore because they are not in any sort of packaging. You can sterilize them on site. You could wipe them with the alcohol wipes and use that and then look inside to make sure there's no debris inside a wound or anything. I also have some slanted tweezers. Now, these are really sharp. These are good for getting ticks out, splinters, bit glass that you get in. I'm always going to say have at least 1 pair of tweezers in your first aid kit. They do come in handy. You lot have a lot of ticks in your woodland areas and grasses and things like that. We don't have as many here, but it's definitely especially if you've got kids with you, they're forever getting splinters or no, not mylar. You know the machine, you put the bag in, you cut the bag to the size, you put food in it. Food saver. The food saver, if you autoclave these at home, so boil these up in home, and then if you put these in the food saver, you're actually then keeping it sterile in a sterile environment because there's no air getting in. So you can keep your own tools sterile. So anyway, another pair of tweezers. Now I do want to mention something. Yeah, food saver. A lot of this stuff has use by dates on. Now, a lot of these dressings have use by dates. Now, mine are all still in date, but it's still going to be sterile as long as, let me show you, as long as like plasters are, no, okay, I use this as a, yeah, see that this has got a use by date. As long as this doesn't get punctured and it's still completely sealed, there's still air in it, the sterile air that was put in it when it was packaged, it's still going to be sterile. It doesn't matter if it's 10 years out of date or not. It will still be sterile. So you don't throw all your first aid supplies away just because a bandage or something hasn't, is over its use by date. Now, pills are a little bit different. Now, most pills, when they go out of date, they're not going to hurt you. They're not going to kill you. They just reduce their efficiency. So painkillers are not going to be as strong as they were. Exactly. It's a lot of use by dates are used to cover their backsides because of their insecurities. Basically, they're saying that they won't guarantee it after that date. Fine. As long as it's still sealed, it's still sterile. So don't listen to all the dates and things like that. First aid is a law unto itself. It's worth a lot of money because things need replacing. Now, I understand certain pills being replaced, but you don't have to replace everything. So, okay, so we've done all of it apart from the middle section. Now, as I open this, I am going to show you. It does have a little compartment at the top. So I'll show you that first. In here, I have some proper medical steri strips for really deep wounds. I also have, when I was talking about earlier about having sterile water, obviously, if you run out, now I have got some in here, but if somebody needs to drink something because they need it for their pills and there isn't any, I do have some sterilizing, some water tablets. These are the Oasis water tablets. Basically, you put one tablet in a litre of water and then leave it for half an hour and it should be good to drink. Now, if you've got a bandana and there's bits in the water, strain it out. Obviously, if you can boil it, that's even better. But at a pinch, this is going to work. So I keep a slip of them in there. And that's it for that top package. Now, the thing you're going to use most in any first aid kit, apart from pills and band-aids, is gauze. When you're cleaning a wound, you use gauze. When a lot of people, when they're dressing wounds, they use gauze. A lot of wounds will use a lot of gauze. So I do have quite a lot of gauze in my kit. You can get whatever brand you want. These ones are the Relic Swab, which is a good brand here. These are the 7.5 by 7.5. I think that's 4x4. This is a 4-ply, and there's 5 in a packet, and I have 10 packets. So I have a good supply of gauze. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to tip this up a little bit so you can actually see how organized it is inside. It actually is organized. I know where everything is in here. So what else do I have? Well, I have 2 different size syringes. I don't have any needles for the syringes. That's not what these are for. These are not for medication or anything like that. If somebody needs to have liquid medication, if they're having problems swallowing, you could use the smaller one to give fluids. You can use either one for cleaning out wounds, to give more pressure to clean it out. Really good cleaning out eyes and things like that. So I actually have 2 different sizes. I had the 10mm and a 20mm. I have I like getting my saline this way. For home kits, I do have the bottles of saline solution. But for out and about, I know these are expensive there. So do look around. I'll actually open it. I'll show These are just individual ones. These are 20 mil each, and it's just saline. So if you're cleaning out wounds, cleaning out your eye, this is already sterile solution. You just break off the top and use it for your wounds. I have 5, so I think that's a good start. There you go. That's better. You can see it better now. See, all organised, packed to the gills. The rest of the pockets aren't that packed, but this middle one really is. Now, a lot of this is for blood stopping. This is for big wounds, whether it be from a car accident, whether this be if somebody's fell over. You know, if a head wounds bleed like I don't know what. Young, old, it doesn't matter. They bleed a lot. So it could be from a car accident. It could be America. It could be gunshot wounds, especially with how crazy your country is right now. It could be stab wounds. So this is for that sort of emergency, really. So let's crack on with this bit. I have a different sort of tape. This is a plaster tape. This gets really sticky, so it really does stick down well. You can also write on this. That's what's missing from here, what I didn't put back in. There should be, and everybody should put a Sharpie in their first aid kit, because you can write on skin with a Sharpie. If you've put a tourniquet on somebody, you have to write, I would write on them what time you put it on, because tourniquets can only be on for a certain amount of time. Now, you will notice that I don't have a tourniquet because I'm still not 100% sure whether I want them in my kits. In this country, it's not really needed. We don't have the gun issue that you guys do. But they have a lot of good things for them, but the bad things are very scary. The bad things are you can lose a limb if it's not put on properly, if it's not taken off properly, if it's not taken off in the right time. And I'm not ready for that sort of responsibility. So right now it is not in my kit. I do want to do more training, so maybe it'll come with that. I will always say that everybody should do first aid training. No matter what, you should have some sort of certification, whether it's just for the CPR, whether it's for wounds, whether it's for choking hazards for kids. And a lot of it can actually be applied to animals as well. I don't know if you know that, but a lot of this stuff can actually be used on animals. So if your dog, if you're walking out and about and it cuts its paw, you can use a lot of this stuff on your dog. So having a basic knowledge of first aid is always a good thing, and it can save somebody's life. I have used first aid on other people because out of need. So I am going to say, go and get some training. If you get certified, that's even better. Yes, exactly. June, I'm not ready for that. It's not something I have to do here. So funny. We're not doing curry. We're doing first aid kit. Anyway, okay, let's do some more of this kit. Okay, so I have some. I have some Kofex bandage. Now, this is good on older people. A lot of old people, you can't use like any sort of tape on them because their skin tears so easily. So Kofex is a good in between. So you can put a dressing on and then put this over it to keep it on instead of using the tape, because you wouldn't want to rip their skin off. This is the one, for people that don't know, it is an elasticated bandage, but it sticks to itself. It doesn't stick to anything else. It won't stick to your skin. It won't stick to your clothes. It just sticks to itself. So I have one bandage of that. I have one crepe bandage. I don't know what you lot call it. We call it crepe bandage. I have the 2 clips. Now I can use tape on this. I can use the pins, but I just have a couple of the clamps on it. This is new. It's just been out of its wrapper. Now I have 3. I think these are 7. Oh, these are 10. 3 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter by 4 meters. What? Yeah, apparently 4 meters. Okay. Conforming bandage. This really does let your skin breathe. You will obviously heat up still, but it's good. And if you're not using the Coflex, use the conforming bandage. I have 3 of those. Somebody's messaging me. Excuse me, 2 seconds. Sorry about that, guys. I also have 2 small ones. These are 5 centimeter. Now these are good for head wounds, to wrap if you're wrapping it around somebody's eye, if you're putting the eye patch on, or if somebody's got a wound on the head. It's easier to wrap these than the bigger ones. So I've got 2 of those in there. I also have a sterile, large sterile dressing. I also have 2 medium ones. Now what these are, sorry. I need to shut that down because I don't want the buzzing on my screen. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, guys. What these are is, it's got a pad. So this says it's the pad size is 18 by 18 centimeters. So it's a nice size pad, but it has a bandage on either side. So you put that, obviously the dressing on the wound, and then wrap it with the bandage. So instead of using this, you would use this. So I have 2 different sizes of that one. I also have compressed ones. Now these are exactly the same. They're just a different way of packaging them. So I have a really small one, and then I have a large one. A lot of this you can get on Amazon if you can't get it from a medical store. I deal with a few medical stores, but a lot of this does come from Amazon as well. I also have an Izzy bandage. An Izzy bandage is called an Israeli bandage. The military use these. I say a lot, don't I? Because I don't have the tourniquet, as I said, with this, you actually don't have it. You don't need it, because this is basically one of these, just bigger, and it actually has a hook on it. So you can tighten down. Hey, Laura. So you can tighten down the bandage and really create some pressure because of the way the bar is. Is it buffering for anybody else? You can really put some pressure on a wound. All military people carry one of these. whether it's this, I think this is the 6-inch. No, this is the 4-inch. They come in 4-inch, 6-inch, 8-inch, and then there's actually a stomach one as well. Sorry, I'm sweating. So I have one Israeli bandage. I have a finger dressing. Thanks, June. I also have the tool to put the dressing on the finger. So you don't, I need to take out my vocabulary. Basically, you put the bandage over the top. You can actually use this 2 ways. You can actually use this as a splint and put the bandage on your finger and then rewrap it over the splint. So you splint your finger. Or you can use this to put the bandage on. So basically you put the first lot of bandage on, twist it, and then put it over the top. So you've doubled it over. So I just have one of those in there. Now these come in different sizes as well. This is for a medium. It's probably too big for my fingers. And how you would then do that, you would then tape around the bottom of the finger. And normally, after you've bandaged one finger, you then also want to tape the next one next to it. Unless you've used the splint. If you use the splint, you don't need to tape 2 fingers. If you're not using the splint, then tape 2 fingers. Okay, I also have different size low adherent dressings of so I've got the 4x4, I've got 5 centimeters. These ones are the one, these actually have the sticky on them. So you have, I don't know how to get this in the light. So you have, these are the ones they use on in hospitals after operations. So you have the pad and then you have the sticky already. You just peel it off. It basically is just a big plaster. So I have a couple of those. And then another bigger dressing. Now, I also have 2 iPads. So as I said, you can use the small bandage or you can use tape to stick this on. So 2 eye patches. Now these, oh, I'll do these. Now I call these Lillettes. They're basically tampons, mini tampons. Now I like these mini ones. 1, they're cheaper. 2, they're tiny, so it's easy to carry. But for a gunshot wound or a stab wound, I'd rather have this shoved in it, the hole, than a big tampon. So if a stick goes through your leg, they say don't pull it out. Guaranteed you're going to pull it out if it goes in your leg. I know I would. Obviously clean it out. And then if you just pop this in, it obviously women know what these do. So there's a couple of them. Now, I've used these. I've used this sort. These are burn dressings. How these work is it's like a net with some gel substance. Now, they say it doesn't stick to your wounds. Let me tell you right now, it does stick, but it does help with the healing. It keeps, if you've got a burn, you want to keep it moist while it's healing. And this will help with that without putting any contaminants. So I've just, how I've done it, if somebody's only got a small burn, I would just open this one. Now this is exactly the same, just a different brand. And this actually has 10 of these in this pack. So if it's a big burn over a large area, I'm going to open this pack. If it's just a small wound, then I'll just use this one. And as I said, I have actually used these. I used them on my hands when I burnt my hands a few years ago. And that's how I got introduced to them. So I also, there is a little pouch on the inside, have a little first aid book. Now, it's not great. I would prefer to put a different one in, but means to an end. It does have basic first aid stuff in. Now, even trained, if it's somebody you care about, your mind may go blank. So a quick read will make you feel better. If somebody's with you and they don't know what they're doing, instead of just talking them through, throw this at them while you start. Now, this is the UK one, so I'm not sure if you can get this sort of manual over there, just a pocket manual for first aid. But I always like having a little manual in my first aid kit. Now, the last bit of this kit, as I said, this is what you lot call a fanny pack, we call a bum bag. The straps are inside. But because this is a good area, I didn't want to waste it. So I've put a few things in the back of it, and it doesn't hurt it at all. So I'm going to show you what I've got. I've got a large, big 10 centimetre by 20 centimetre dressing in the back. I have got a full blanket. Obviously, this is for shock, keep somebody warm. I used to have the reusable heat packs that used to pop a thing and it'd heat up. I've actually used that on an old lady that had fell over. I'd already sorted all her wounds out, but she was getting cold. So I put one of these round her, and then under her armpits, I put the 2 heat packs to keep her warm. And that seemed to work. Now, bearing in mind, there was snow on the ground and she was on concrete. So while we were waiting for an ambulance. So it's always good to have. And these were all over my car. I had one in the glove box. I had one in my driver's side door. And then obviously one in my first aid kit. Okay. I also have a triangle bandage. So obviously for a sling, it already has the pins inside it. Obviously learn how to tie one of these. And then I also have a breathe mask. Now this one has a valve on it. You can get different sorts of these. Why would you use one of these? Well, sounds gross, but a lot of people that stop breathing vomit when they start breathing again. And this will stop the vomit getting in your mouth if you're doing CPR. If you come across a drug addict, if somebody's got funky stuff on their mouth or anything like this is going to stop you catching whatever they've caught. Because you never know, they could have cold sores. Now, I get cold sores. They could have hepatitis B, hepatitis C, I think can be got by saliva. I can't remember. But I'll always carry one of these. Now, the new thing is, do not do mouth to mouth with CPR. I don't see the point why they've stopped that. After all these years, they're now saying don't give breath. If somebody's not breathing, just starting their heart again is not going to start them breathing. They need both. So obviously I've got to do new training because I don't understand why they've taken that away. So I have a nice pile of first aid stuff. That is my car first aid kit. Now, over there, I would also put a chest seal in my kit. Now, they're really, really expensive here. So I haven't got one. I will be getting some when I go visit. And there are other things you can put in. You could put a nasal pharyngeal. My big kit, actually, I've got to replace a lot of it because it's somewhere else. You can put the mouth breathing guard. So instead of putting the nasal pharyngeal, you can get the mouth ones. I had the full set. It's something I'll have to replace. You can get different sizes of the nasal pharyngeal. Now, do get training if you're going to do one of them, because you can do a lot of damage. Now, you don't have to use any equipment that you're not comfortable using. I am going to say don't use anything you have no experience with. Don't use things you don't feel comfortable doing. In this day and age where it's a Sioux Nation, and when I mean Sioux Nation, I don't mean the Indian Sioux Nation. Like you give somebody CPR and you crack their rib, they're going to sue you these days. So it is a hard time, and you have to make the choice. If they're actually conscious, you could ask them if they want you to treat them before an ambulance comes. And if they say yes, you could get them to sign, as there's a little notebook, just get them to sign that that is what they're okaying to. If somebody else is with them and it's, say, a child, get the parent to sign. So they know the dangers then. And you're covering your backside, basically. I'm not of, I wouldn't not treat somebody. If somebody was in danger, I'm going to treat them. If they sue me, they sue me. But first aid is something I absolutely adore. I love buying the equipment. I love setting the kits up. I love thinking, I have different kits for different things. Like, I've got to rebuild it, but my kit, my first aid kit for my bug out bag will be different from this. Obviously, I can't carry all this in my bug out bag because it's too heavy. So I'd have to pare it down. Is there anything else you think I may have missed in this kit? Or do you have any other ideas of what you would put in your kit? Now, this is, as I said earlier, this is easy enough just to throw in the boot of your car. You can take it camping because of the way it carries. You can take, if your car's going to be near you, or you've got to pull the first aid kit out and put it in the tent, because then you don't have to do different kits. If it's somewhere the car's going to be, just have the one kit for that car, and then if you're going camping, just take it out of the car. Don't forget, if you use anything, replace it. You don't want to get into a situation where you need something out of the kit and you've used it and not replaced it. That happens a lot to a lot of people. As I said, I took my Sharpie out and I haven't put it back in. I took the torch out and didn't put it back in, but I knew exactly where that is. I don't know where I've put my Sharpie, but there are plenty around the house. So does anyone have any questions about the kit? You want any more information about anything I put in the kit? Anyone? Now, buying the stuff, it can be expensive. But buying in bulk is a better way because you want more than one first aid kit. You want one for the house. You want a lot of households have more than one car, so you want one in each car. If you've got a workshop or a garage, it's a good thing to have a little first aid kit out there so you don't drip blood all over the house looking for the first aid kit. So that's why I like buying in bulk. Buying the kits from the shop is a waste of money. You are buying a 500-piece kit and 350 of that is band-aids. And then you've got a bunch of safety pins in it. And each alcohol prep pad is one item. So that is 2 items. So they stick a few of them in. And they don't put good equipment in. It doesn't matter what they say it is, it's the best first aid kit. No, it's not, because you put junk in it. You might as well put a bit more money to it. Over time, now Amazon is the best place. Hands down, Amazon to buy bulk, unless you know somebody like I do. Amy works for a medical company, so I can get bulk. But when I say Amy works for a medical company and I can get bulk, I get bulk. I have to buy a case of something. So unless I'm making kits or it's gauze, now I'll get a case of gauze easy because that will get used. It doesn't matter. But certain things I'm not going to want cases of. If I can get the ice packs in a case, I'd do that as well. And I know you lot have the instant heat pads like that ice pack. I will say the charcoal tablets, Amazon was the cheapest place I found that. Now, also another thing I will put in when I get there will be iodine prep pads, because not only can they clean a wound, but you can actually use them in your water as well to clean a wound. So you've got the clean water. If you use an iodine prep pad, stick that in the water, it gives it extra boost for cleaning the wounds out. You don't actually have to carry a bottle of iodine. So there are things I will be buying extra because I have to think about more things when I'm in America. Living in the middle of nowhere, I'm used to sorting out my medical stuff myself. Amy doesn't like that too much, but I don't see the point in paying at a hospital for something I can do myself. So, anyone got anything else to say? Because I've been on for over an hour now. It's a long video. June, I know you're... No, but if I go to the NHS, I'm more likely to catch MRSA. I am tired. I'm okay, though. I did get some sleep last night, so, but I haven't slept in the day like I wanted to. No, I just don't like Northampton General Hospital, and they don't particularly like me. You got to see them in being good with me, but that's mostly because I didn't let them touch me. When I should have done. So, okay, if nobody's got anything else to say, I'm going to close down this video. I want to thank the people that came and put comments down. If you've got any more questions that come afterwards, just put them in the bottom of after the video, and I'll get back to you. If you want this sort of bag, I can give you the link in America, because I actually found it for Ginny the other day. So if you want any more advice, you know where to find me. I'm going to say be blessed. Give me a thumbs up in the yay box, and I'll see you all around. Bye all.